So while I'm here in Glasgow, I was talking to my sister and sharing with her my travel tips. And she's like, you should do a YouTube video on my travel tips. And so these are my travel tips. And they are not in any sort of order. It's just whatever is coming to me at any given time. So hopefully it helps you. So I am a planner and an organizer. I don't wait until the last minute. I do not procrastinate. I like deals, as you know, not only in clothing, but in every area of my life. If I can get it for something for a less price, a reduced price, then I want that. I feel like I'm gypped and it's highway robbery if I knew that the price was lower one time and now I'm paying the normal price. So I always start early. So we went to Mexico, and I'll have a video of our vacation and adventure coming up. It was amazing. Yes, my favorite word again. But my husband and I, we talked about our trip and where we wanted to go this summer with our children. We decided a very long time ago when we were newly married that traveling was very important to us. And yes, it could be expensive when you're adding airfare, accommodations, food, all these things. But we decided that this is where we wanted to spend our money. So in other areas of our life, we budget and we save for our trips. So this year we decided to go to Mexico. So this is just an example. We started in January. We started looking in December, January of this year for July. Yeah. And so we were looking because I find that accommodations are less expensive. I find that airfare is less expensive if I book way in advance. And this turned out that way. The place that we stayed at in Mexico had a really great deal and it was half off. So we got this 4-bedroom, 4-bath house for half the price, which was great because we were staying there for a month. And so by looking early, several months in advance, we were able to get this deal. So that just worked out great. So that's a tip that I would definitely suggest, is to start, if you can, a couple of months in advance. This also went for airfare. We got our airfare, and at the time, because of COVID, a lot of the airlines were saying that if we needed to cancel, it was basically free because of COVID and different things that are happening. We could book in advance, and if we decided not to go and we changed our minds, we can always cancel. Now, I have to tell you that one thing about the accommodations with this great deal is that we couldn't cancel. So we just had to hope that we were able to go, and which we did, but they didn't have any cancellation. That's why we got it for half off. It was purchase now, pay your money now in January, February, for July, and you can't get your money back if you decided to cancel. And for us, we decided to take that gamble. So let me go back. So one of the tips or things that I do when I take a trip is different now that we have children. So when my husband and I, we have 2 children. When we first were parents, hotel rooms were really hard. We had a baby, or we had a little girl, and her bedtime was 7 or 8. And we just had to go to bed. We couldn't really watch TV or talk because we didn't want to interrupt her sleep. And so I was like, this isn't working for me. The traveling, which we love to do, was becoming a chore. It was kind of like not as exciting because we had to like think of that and go to sleep really early because of our daughter or our baby. And so I started looking at Airbnb or Vrbo, or even hotels that have a living room and a bedroom. Like the Embassy Suite is one of them. I started out using the Embassy Suite and I was like, this is awesome because we can put her to bed in the room, in the bedroom, and my husband and I can just watch TV or chat and not interrupt her in the living room. So I just broadened my horizon. Travel became exciting and fun again. And it wasn't like, oh, we have to go to bed at 7 because our daughter is going to bed at 7. And so Airbnb and Vrbo and other vacation rentals are so important to us, especially now. Recently, we decided that we wanted to stay in a particular place for more than 2 weeks. We wanted to be established there. We just wanted to know the area really well and try to stay for like 3 weeks to a month. And because of that, we wanted a place that is big enough so that we're not on top of each other the whole 3 weeks or month. And so having a vacation home really works out for us. Yes, it's expensive to even think of being in a place for more than a week or more than 2 weeks. But what we decided to do is find places, which is the third tip, or the fourth tip. What we decided to do is find areas that have a low cost of living, a place that we want to go to but is not expensive. The food wouldn't be expensive, the accommodations wouldn't be expensive. So let me give you an example. So we went to St. Thomas for a month and we ended up getting, through Vrbo, we ended up getting a 1-bedroom with a sleeper sofa in the living room for our family. It was fine because in St. Thomas, in the Caribbean, you're outside for most of the day. But it got a little tight. It worked for us. We were there for a month and we had a wonderful time. We were near the beach and it was beautiful. Okay, there's an alarm system that is going on outside. If you can hear that, I am sorry. But let's just proceed. But we decided that we want to look for other areas that are not as expensive so that we can have a bigger place. And so we were looking at Lisbon, we were looking at Greece, we were looking in those areas. We love Europe, and so we're always thinking of going there and spending time there in different parts of Europe. Because of COVID and the restrictions, travel restrictions, and just restrictions in the European country, we were nervous about starting and organizing a trip all the way in January, not knowing what will happen in July. So we decided to look at places that were closer to the US. And I was watching a lot of YouTube videos about Mexico, and Merida just kept popping up for us. And so we're thinking, you know what? It is close to the US. There's a low cost of living. And when we looked into Merida even closer, it was like the second safest city in the Western Hemisphere after Quebec City. Could you believe that? And so we were really excited. And so we decided to go there. And I'm telling you, let me give you an example. For a 15-minute Uber ride, it was like $2. And so spending time there, it's a beautiful place. It's near the Mayan ruins. And we were able to go to Spanish school and do several things. There was a pool at the Airbnb house that we stayed in. So there were many different things for us to do there. And it cost the same amount, the accommodation cost the same amount as our 1-bedroom apartment in St. Thomas. So that worked out great. So our tip is, or my tip is to, if you want to stay a longer time, to find areas, of course, that you want to go to, but that have a lower cost of living. Okay, so my next tip, and I have no idea what number it is, but one of the things I definitely recommend is watching YouTube videos or going on TripAdvisor to find out about the areas that you're interested in. So I went on YouTube and I watched a lot of videos about Merida. I watched a lot of videos about Lisbon, Portugal. just to get a feel for us, because now my children are older and there are different things that they want to do and what we want to do. If I bring up tour to my children, they're like screaming, please, no tours, please, no tours. We are doing tours, but I want to find other things that they find exciting. And one of the things that they find exciting is a pool. So everywhere we go, we try to make sure that there is a pool that's either on site or that we can have access to for them. Because for them, that's a vacation. And I want on our vacation, our family vacation, to find something for every one of us. So again, when you're thinking about travel, of course, the number one thing is, and I should have said this at the beginning, is to figure out who you're going with. Having a hotel room, if it's just me and my husband, is perfect for us because we're going to go to bed almost the same time. And we don't really need any room to like spread out. My children are into watching YouTube or playing video games, and that's kind of loud sometimes. So having a separation is key for us. So if I'm going, I have gone on trips with my girlfriends, and we're staying just for the weekend. We just go to a hotel that's on a beach that might have several restaurants, because for us, spending time at the beach and going to different restaurants is important to us. And so finding areas for us, for my girlfriends and I, we love going to an island, in the Caribbean that's close, that's a quick flight. There's like there's no layover, because we're just in and out, and we don't want to be stranded and not able to enjoy our full, let's say, a 4-day or 3-day trip. And so that is important to us. We want to be near the beach, and we want to be in an area where we can walk to different hotels. Not different hotels, but different restaurants. Yes. So figuring out who you're traveling with and how long you're staying for. That is very important to start your travel research and travel planning, is knowing who you're going with. Is it family? Is it with my husband? Is it with my girlfriend? Am I going by myself? If I was going by myself, I would make sure that I found areas that are safe. Like I watched a lot of shows about Merida, for example, where I watch women who that's basically one of their number one places where they feel safe is Merida. And so I would definitely do my research, TripAdvisors, look at the reviews, and also YouTube channel or other people that have been to that place. Hey, did you find this area safe? What did you think? Did you feel this? Did you feel comfortable? Did you feel that the people didn't want you there? Like, what was the feel of the place? And that is important. Okay, so I'm just looking on my list here, making sure I don't forget. So let's talk about Airbnb. That I have a little bit of a stipulation about where I stay. I like to stay in nice places. But the most important thing for me is cleanliness. I don't like to see dust or dirt or stuff in the cabinets or in the fridge or in the bathroom. And so I always try to look at the reviews to see what they thought about cleanliness and of the house or the apartment or the hotel room. Like if they're like, oh, there was hair all over the sink, and I'm like, okay, nope, I am not going to that. So that is important to me. Location. Where is it situated? If I want to just be lying on the beach and I don't want to be in town, is it on the beach? Or I want to be able to walk different places. I want to be able to walk to restaurants and cafes and stores. Am I close to it? Or am I going to have to trek an hour just to get into the town, or have to Uber to different areas to go to restaurants or cafes? So that is important to me. Also, if it's not close, is the transit close? let's say the only place that I can afford is out, but the transit is right next door and I can be there in 5 minutes, I'm fine with that. Another thing is the manager of the Airbnb or the apartment or the house, for Airbnb or Vrbo or any other thing online, is how quick the manager is able to deal with issues that might come up. For example, the AC in our place in Mexico stopped working, and we immediately called the manager and she said, I'll get somebody over there tomorrow, which was fine. They came and they tried to fix it. They weren't able to fix it. Again, that is no one's fault. It's not the manager's fault. Things happen, things break down. It's an appliance. It's a system that has issues sometimes. So there was no blaming, but I like the fact that she instantly tried to make sure that things were okay. And we were leaving soon, and so we just felt like it wasn't a big deal, but she was quick to make sure that that person came. Another example is the pool started to get a little murky, and we texted her and she said, I'll get somebody over there this afternoon or the next day, and someone was there and they were able to take care of the pool. And so for me, that is important as well. I want to be able to get a hold of the manager and for that manager to take care of things. It might not be done because things take time, but that's okay. She is trying to make sure that that things get fixed and I have a really good vacation. Okay, so another thing that I like to do, a tip for you, is anywhere I go, I want to do something special or different. For example, we were in Italy, our family was in Italy, and my husband loves mosaics. If there is a mosaic table, he's like, oh, we should have that. Or something, he bought me a necklace in Italy that was a mosaic necklace. He is just in awe of how these artists are able to make things into a distinct picture with little tiles. He just loves that. And we were able to find through TripAdvisor a person that that taught mosaics. And so we went to her studio, and that was something special. And we still have them today. We made something that we can remember Barcelona by, right? And my husband and I and our children had an amazing time. So that's an example that was outside the box that we would never really think about doing, but we did. Another thing is we love food tours. I just spoke to you earlier about, actually I'm going to be talking to you about our food tour that we had. My daughter and I went to Scotland recently and we did a food tour. It was so good. We were able to see different parts of the city and taste the cuisine of the city, which was nice to, like, for Scotland, taste really nice haggis and have it with some tots and nips, which are potatoes, and turnips, which is a delicacy that everybody, whether you're in a restaurant or whether you're at somebody's house, that are made regularly. And so I love food. And so finding out about the foods of the particular place that I'm staying in is important to me. It might be something else. It might be a hiking trip. It might be an architectural kind of tour. Just find something. There's everything out there. TripAdvisor, and then for Europe, there's Viator, Viator, I think it's Viator. They have different tours that you can get. And the great thing that they've recently started doing is that you can reserve it and you can cancel up to 24 hours in advance. So if something come up, for instance, in Mexico, we were going to do a cooking class through TripAdvisor, and we ended up not having time. I was able to cancel it 3 days in advance, and we were able to get our money back. I always look at what they say, the reviews about a particular tour. That is important. And so I try to leave reviews as well, because I know it's important for others to know exactly how the tour was for me. Everybody has their different tastes, and so reading more than just one or two, maybe 3 or 4, you can kind of get a handle on how a tour was, because sometimes maybe the tour guide is having a bad day that day, or he's not feeling well and the tour isn't as good, and so you want to read more than 1 or 2 just to get a feel for what the tour will be like. Okay, the last thing that I want to talk about is leaving time at the end of your vacation to find relaxation at your home. I make sure that I leave room for me to kind of relax at home, to unpack, to unwind, to kind of acclimate to the time difference, if there's a time difference. I am not coming in Sunday night if I have to work Monday morning. It does not work for me, because for the whole week, I'm just going to be grumpy and upset because I didn't have time to unpack. I didn't have time to like kind of relax and get myself together before I have to be moving. And so, for instance, if I'm coming back, I try to come back on Friday or on Saturday and at least have one day, which is Sunday, before Monday when I have to start work again. So to me, that is key for me to not come back, because sometimes you come back tired, not from the trip, but from the all day airline, waking up, being at the airport 3 hours in advance. That is tiring. And so just that whole trip day, getting back can be exhausting. So I need time to just relax, unwind, and get myself together before I have to start moving again. So I think that's it for all of my tips that I think about when I am planning my trip. And yes, I'm already thinking about what I'm going to be doing next year. And you know it, the day after New Year's, I'm going to be starting thinking and looking at my next big trip that I'm going on. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next week. Bye.